The voice of sharing Durian ASEAN.
Hey, good morning, and now we are back with another slot, which is called ABC Dialogue. And today we have Dr. James Alin. He is an economist from Sabah. Hi, are you there online?
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. James. How are you from Sabah?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine as well. Today you'll be dissecting Sabah's economy one by one. And just to give a background that you are an economist in which university?
I'm working with University Malaysia Sabah.
Ah, okay. And what are your areas that you are working currently?
Economics of conserving wildlife in natural areas.
Mm-hmm. But today we are dissecting Sabah's economy, so we'll be discussing in-depthly on its market opportunity, its rich natural resources, key industry, economic growth, and also on socio-economic issues and its Sabah's relation with Putrajaya, as well as sustainable development, which is what your core focus has been, right?
Yes.
So first off, let's start with Sabah's economy as a whole. It's been written that Sabah is ranked third highest in GDP back in 1970s. So that was quite a while ago. But now it seems like Sabah is among the poorest among all states in Malaysia. Why that is happening?
Okay. That's what the news, bad news said. Yeah. And yes, when we said about used to be the richest, we actually talking about GDP. Yeah? Gross domestic product. When we decided to form Malaysian Federation in 1963, in terms of GDP at that time, Sabah was number 3 top. On the top, actually, Kuala Lumpur and then Selangor, then Sabah. Terengganu was number 10. Yeah?
Wow.
Yes, by 2000. Sabah dropped to number 3 bottom.
Which is at the number 12 or the third poorest.
Yes. And who took the position of number 3 richest in terms of GDP? You guess.
Is it Selangor or?
No, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor number 1, number 2 still until today. But number 3 actually
Penang,
Terengganu.
Oh,
Terengganu.
Terengganu. Interesting.
Yes. Interesting, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but anyway, you see, when we said rich in terms of monetary terms, because GDP is counted at market value, I mean whatever we produce within a year in Sabah. Yeah? But GDP actually is not a perfect measurement of wealth. For example, how we calculate GDP. The total production in Sabah we divide by the number of people living here, right? So that means that is not very accurate. It's just averaging, you average things. Like some you don't know who get how much of that income. Yes. So we don't know actually the distribution of income actually. If we look at GDP as the only measurement of wealth.
I see. Yeah, that's true. When you say Terengganu is the third highest in GDP, but if you really go to Terengganu and see the population there, the people there are not you would deem as rich or even middle class, isn't it?
Yes. So I mean, never mind. First, we need to remember that. When we said rich, what do you mean by rich, Income is only one way to measure wealth. Like I said, today Sabah actually is experiencing economic boom,
Mm-hmm.
In fact, for the past 3 decades, it's kind of very impressive, you know.
But why Sabah is still lagging behind in this case?
Yes, yes. Well, it's not that if you take these 13 states in Malaysian Federation, like running in a short distance, yeah, like a marathon, yeah, marathon without destination, yeah. It is not that Sabah is not running, okay. Sabah is also running together with the rest of the other 12 members, but simply we're not running fast.
I see. And why
Yes.
is that so? Like, what are the key pusher in Sabah that is not fast enough? I mean, in terms
Yeah.
of its industries and all that.
Yes, yes. I suppose, yeah. First, because Sabah is still, if you look at the economic structure, Sabah is still depending on primary commodities. So our GDP actually, GDP consists of consumption, investment, government, and export. Yeah. So if I say that our economic structure is based on primary commodity, it means that whatever we produce, we export. It will show up in the export. Yeah. For example, if you look at Sabah export since independent, yeah, it's mainly on palm oil, rubber, cacao. Then you have petroleum, of course, and methanol. Methanol is came from natural gas. It's also related to petroleum. Then you have timber-related products, and all our manufactured goods actually are related to timber and oil and gas, and a little bit of marine product. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So these things actually drag. Of course, like I said, we experience economic boom. You know, how come economy is like how say heartbeat, very fast heartbeat. Yeah, economic growth is like you have a fast heartbeat, but still you don't consider yourself healthy, right?
Yeah, and I'm quite curious because Sabah is rich in natural resources compared to the rest of Malaysia, if I were to say that. But when you look at the top 3 highest GDP in states in Malaysia are states that are not really that rich in natural resources, and I'm just wondering like how they make it into that number of GDP compared to Sabah at a very lower GDP rate.
Yes, that's a very valid observation. So that means if Sabah want to move towards higher income state, they have to make a U-turn. You know, you make use of that primary commodity and start go into manufacturing. You know, you instead of exporting the raw material, you need to make use of the raw material domestic. You have to invite people to invest here, like foreign direct investment or portfolio. Portfolio means people open banks, banks, investment house. People will not open investment bank unless there is people borrowing money from them, right?
That's true.
Why do people borrow money? Because they need business. And these things are related. No foreign investment coming, of course there are no banks open. So, for example, so we sell that cacao, but we don't have a cacao brand from Sabah. So we are selling it to Netherlands, to European, which they produce. They have a cacao house that produce very expensive chocolate. Yes, I'm sure you like chocolate.
Yeah, sure. Everyone likes it.
Yeah, but why is it all the best brand is in Europe or US?
So the key challenge here is to move beyond just exporting commodities, but also to produce something out of it, isn't it?
Yes, yes. That's what we call value added. Also, like you said, yeah. How come Selangor is in the top three since independent until today?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that means, they have done something right. So what is that secret recipe that Selangor has, Sabah doesn't?
I see.
Very simple. Very simple. I give you this one. No need to look at statistic. Okay. So if you drive from Subang or from the low-cost airport back to the city center, Kuala Lumpur city center, what do you see as you approach Shah Alam? And you see a big industrial left and right of the highway, right?
Yeah, they have quite a number of industrial parks, I think.
That's right. So you've been to Sabah, Kota Kinabalu on?
I've never been to Sabah, although I've been to Sarawak.
Okay. All right. If you go to Kota Kinabalu, when you land, after you landed in Kota Kinabalu, you drive to the city center. You will never see a single factory on the left and right of the highway. So that is just a visual observation to tell you that Sabah economy has very little manufacturing, high value added production like in Selangor.
But why is that so? I mean, Sabah is situated in an area which I think I spoke with one of the economists in the previous session. There's this economic growth zone called Bimyaga, and if that's so, Sabah should have producing more manufactured goods and other value-added goods, isn't it? Because they are in a region where there's so many population that would be good consumer.
That's partly because of the government policy, or probably government tried, is still trying. But somewhere along that, there's something missing ingredient there, Maybe the government, they have a beautiful plan, but that plan was not implemented properly, or I don't know. There's many things involved, yeah. So I mean, you see, another way to compare is between Singapore and the rest of Malaysian states. Yeah? Singapore was in the Malaysian Federation, but they decided to opt out, and they have no natural resources. Today they have the highest, many times higher GDP per capita compared to Sabah, of course, compared to Malaysia. So this is the same situation to Selangor and Sabah today.
I see. So when it comes to Sabah, it is you blame it on the poor economic policy by the state government, or maybe what about the national economic policy of the federal government? Does it affect Sabah's economic growth as well?
Not so, because most of this domestic means within Sabah. Yeah, most of the things that implemented actually based on what they decided here. Of course, Putrajaya or Kuala Lumpur, they have some influence, but it is the people who run the state actually is held responsible. I suppose, like I said, it's partly due to not so good implementation of the policy. I've seen many blueprints after blueprints, but they look good, but and then you follow up the implementation is not so good though. And I don't know exactly because there's many factors why they are not implemented properly.
I see, there are many factors. Okay, let's focus on GDP. Maybe we can try to dissect Sabah's GDP. You pointed out a few areas in Sabah's GDP that the government can probably focus on. One of it is consumption capabilities of people.
Yes. Okay, this is interesting. Like I said, for the past 3 decades, Sabah is experiencing economic boom. Despite the fact in terms of GDP compared to the rest of the states we are lower bottom. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
economic boom means that, like I said, it's like a very strong heartbeat. Yeah, and like in the 60s, also boom that time. Why? What is this boom means? Yeah. What caused this boom? Suddenly, you can hear rag to riches story here and there. Boom that we experience actually is from the primary sector, primary commodity price, because like petroleum, natural gas, crude palm oil, and things that I mentioned before. Yeah. So the price is so high that it go back to the economy, fuel the boom. And what is the evidence? Again, if you one day you visit Kota Kinabalu, you will see, after you land, you will see many cranes, in the city. Not the cranes, the beautiful birds, but cranes that constructing high-rise buildings.
I see.
Real estate and property boom,
I
they
see.
call it. Yes.
So,
And yes.
yeah, go ahead.
And one side, the good news about the boom is that means some people get richer, yeah, in terms of income.
Mm-hmm.
The city is developing, as you see, yeah. Despite being the third poorest in terms of GDP, Sabah, there is a lot of development. I mean, at least, like I said, real estate development in the city center, and many people get richer. And if many people get richer, means the city center also will have something that you don't like out of that development. For example, Kota Kinabalu now is experiencing jam.
Mm-hmm.
Most area, most of the time, not as bad as Kuala Lumpur, but it's getting there, no?
Mm-hmm. So, I guess this is the effect of development. But then it seems like it's also because the government itself, I think in the Sabahan government, maybe they don't really expect, things would turn out that way. In that sense, the planning of the city doesn't accommodate with the boom of the economic growth itself, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why just now you said like we may be falling behind. We're not falling behind. We are catching up. Catching up in the sense that we follow the footpath of Selangor and Kuala Lumpur.
But do you think that's the path that the Sabahan government should focus on, following the path of Selangor and Kuala Lumpur?
It look some part of it, yes, but that is a bad news. If the state is moving toward the same direction, I think it's kind of dangerous. Like I said just now, yeah, just because you have high income doesn't mean your life getting better.
Yeah.
So what's the point of having high income when you spend most of your day in the jam?
So at the end of the day is having a good life for Sabahan. But what constitutes a good life for a typical Sabahan, in your opinion?
As good nature, natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
There's still wildlife, of course. If you want to go to the mountain, you can go within few hours time. If you want to go to the best 5-star world-class resort, you can go within few hours time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that people take it for granted, and that will disappear if we follow the same path like Kuala Lumpur and Selangor way of development.
Yeah, I think having Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, or even Singapore as the benchmark might not be a good case for Sabahan. But what are the good, probably I would say, benchmark that Sabahan could follow, maybe in other countries that you can think of?
Well, of course, it's hard to find perfect role model. That we share similarities, almost 100%. Of course, very hard. But what we can do is we can take here and there a little bit from Singapore, a little bit from Costa Rica, a little bit from Philippines. We don't have to go far. then we have our own way. Maybe in the future, post 2020, it will be good if you can move towards IT, something that does not damage the environment that much. We still need some primary commodity, that is for sure, but there must be a way to move further up, not so much of increasing the area, but in terms of what you do with your current production, like I said, example of a chocolate, instead of planting the cacao tree, why don't we produce the best chocolate in the world, for example?
But this takes more than just economic policy. I think to create a society that can provide value-added services and products to the world, I think it takes also other structural reforms like education and healthcare and all that. But what's your take on this?
Yes. In terms of human capital investment, we already moving toward the right path, the right direction. Actually, we are actually, in fact, we are training fresh graduates, more than the school leavers now. Like colleges, like mushrooming everywhere. But okay, never mind. But to have a better education citizen is good thing, it's a good thing. They will bring some social benefit, definitely. At the same time, that this is the thing that's interesting, yeah. First, yeah. If you look at unemployment rate, yeah, we only have about 4 or 5% or less than that.
The whole of Malaysia or in Sabah?
Just for Sabah, yeah, for Sabah. Or if you translate into numbers, it's about 83,500 people unemployed in Sabah today. From the viewpoint of economics, when you have less than 5% unemployment, you are actually full employment. What do you call what it means full employment? It means that these 83,000 unemployed people, they can actually get a job. There's a job for them. But they decided not to take it. Yeah. So what kind of job is that created by the economy? Why are these 80-something thousand people taking them, They rather become unemployed.
So in that case, right, in terms of unemployment people in Sabah, I spoken to some friends, Sabahan, who said that they have these are very young Sabahan. They said that getting a job is not easy, and I think probably when they say it's not easy, I think it's probably a mismatch in terms of their skills and the job that is available in Sabah. I'm just wondering, is that really the case in terms of the overall overview of Sabah's employment?
Yes. Actually, like we discussed before, yeah. So because what we produce is primary commodity, so by logic, the new job being created per year actually is from this sector, yeah. And this, as you know, again by logic, primary commodity create many jobs that's lowly paid. There's some high paid within the industry, but it's not much.
I see. And why it is considered a low paid job instead of a job that people, young Sabahan can go into and contribute their energy towards that particular commodity industry? Yes.
Now, that's a hint. Yeah, that's what you ask is a hint. See, when the economy is stuck in the primary commodity production, and they produce low paid, because primary commodity actually is labor intensive, like let's say construction, yeah. How many job is considered high paid in the construction sector? The one sit in the office, right? But the major numbers of workforce in the construction is people who work under the sun, is it not?
Yeah, that's true.
So
It's very labor intensive.
that's right. You go further in the plantation. Okay, how many highly paid in the plantation? The one again in the office. Mostly are under the sun, working under very demanding, dangerous, and sometimes people say demeaning. Like it's kind of embarrassment, and you lose your self-pride. So these 85,000 unemployed people who decided not to take this type of job, it's not their fault. Nothing wrong with these people.
Yeah.
Like you said, they are mismatched. These are school leavers.
My question is, why can't the government or whoever that is in charge making those jobs attractive in terms of the salary and incentive especially to the younger generation? I mean, in other countries, I can give example of Australia, being in the service and also in industry that is labor intensive, you actually get paid better than being in the office.
There's many factors. Well, first of all, when you have that economy stuck there in the primary commodity, and then the wage level of this sector will go down because it's demand and supply law, though. It's easy to produce blue-collar workers than to produce higher skilled workers, you see. And well, I think it's kind of dangerous to always go back to the government when we said, so what are we going to do with this 83,000 unemployed people? Then people start to jump to, okay, government can do something. Actually, government doesn't have to do anything about it, because if they want to, it will not going to help to solve the problem. First of all, this 80-something thousand people, they are school leavers, they are fresh graduates. Of course, they don't want to work under the sun. I mean, let's say you borrow money from TPTN, you get a diploma. How would your parents think about you going to the construction, putting a bricks?
That's true.
How will your parents? Your parents will be disappointed, right?
That's true.
Well, collecting cacao seeds, for example, in the plantation. I mean, I don't mean that type of job is crime or what, but simply because you prepare yourself for something better, but that something better is not available because the economy is not moving towards producing job that match with your skills. So again, so these people, if they really want to find a job, they can either stay as unemployed, or they create their own job, or they go outside where the job is available.
That's true. So we will return back again in another discussion more on the socio-economic side of Sabah, as well as on the investment and trade. So stay tuned. I'll speak to you again, Mr. James.
The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
Hi, welcome back again. This is Arlene.
Hello.
Hi, and we have here Dr. James Alin as well, an economist from UMS, is it? Is that correct? Yeah. So we are going to continue again dissecting Sabah's economy. And earlier we discussed about the GDP and Sabah's unemployment rate, as well as the key industries in Sabah, and how Sabah should move forward towards a more value-added industries. So now we put more focus on the Sabah's social economy, and one of the areas that I want to highlight is the inequality in Sabah. Is Sabah facing high inequality? I mean, you mentioned earlier that the city areas in Sabah progressing quite fast in terms of the development and construction and all that. But what about the rural areas? Are they lagging behind in terms of development and as well as receiving basic needs such as education and healthcare and all that?
Yes. That's the thing with when we talk about become richer in terms of GDP. Like I said, GDP cannot tell us the distribution of income. For now, our GDP per capita per people who live in Sabah is about 13,000 ringgit. But that doesn't mean every single people who live in Sabah actually earn that much per year.
What is the average income for a Sabahan? Maybe someone who is earning in industry that is middle rank industry.
Yeah, so you can use the 13,000 as a guidelines. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like you said, maybe in the city center is people are getting wealthier, sure. But if you go a little bit further in the interior area, then you'll see some really poor people. That's probably, we tend to compare ourselves with them. Okay, that's what our expectation get higher and higher, and they look very terrible in our eyes.
I see.
But I mean that is the correct feeling though, because we being independent more than half century, so we expect things to get better, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not fair to have many richer people in the city, but when you go to the village, these people live in the terrible condition.
And when you say terrible, their household earning are lower than the average minimum wage that was set by the government, isn't it?
That's right. Right. You know, like of course, when I said about getting richer doesn't mean your life is better. That doesn't mean I'm against income. Okay, income can give you capabilities. Right? Before my grandma cannot drive, so she depend on me to bring her from one point to another. Right? But if my grandma now is earning, so my grandma can buy car and she can drive herself. No need to depend on me. And that is a capability, good things about to have income. And with higher income also, you can afford good health care.
I see.
You can go to private if government service is not available, not accessible, or simply lousy for your standard. Good thing about being rich, okay? and also, if you are generous, if you are philanthropic, you donate some part of your money, you exemption is good. At the same time, you feel good, right?
I see. That's true. But in terms of the inequality between the rural areas and the city areas, I'm just wondering what is the Gini coefficient rate in Sabah?
That's very the stark contrast between the rich in the center and poor in the village is very far. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Gini coefficient is indicator. Yeah, we measure between 0 to 1. If it's 0, means everyone is equal.
So what is
1? Yes, if it's 1, means everyone is very rich. Someone also very poor. You know, these two are they don't. Maybe they live in the same area, but you can look at their house. One is a castle. One is just going to collapse type of hut.
Yeah, that's true. But what is the current rate of Gini coefficient in Sabah?
Near to 1.
Oh, really? Near to 1?
Yes, near to 1. But having said that, that doesn't mean that overall Sabah improved a lot. When in 1963, our population was 500,000 people. Our income was only about 300 North Borneo dollars. That is equivalent about maybe 1,000 ringgit today, maybe 2,000. Today it's 13,000. That makes a lot of difference, number one. Number two, at that time in the 60s, there wasn't any single doctors born in Sabah. Today we have many doctors. Yeah? We have many hospitals. Well, of course, like I said, those hospitals concentrate in the area that near to the urban center. Far away, there's no hospital. People still walk days and go to have a basic medical.
They walk for days to just
Yes,
go to
yes.
the hospital.
Yes, yes.
That is something unheard of in Peninsular Malaysia, I would say, because you only would would know these kind of stories, which would usually be reported, somewhere in Africa where remote areas, people from the remote areas have to walk for miles just to go to the nearest clinic. And it's happening here in Sabah as well.
Yes. And also, Sabah, as you know, Sabah, we have many islands. And there's people living there.
I see.
And these islands are so remote that they don't actually go. They have no access at all to basic medical service. If they want to, if really emergency, it takes days for them to reach. Or never, they will never reach because simply not there. No.
What about clean water and electricity? Are all Sabahan receiving?
No.
They don't.
Yeah, of course. You don't talk about water, electricity, just schools, let's say, schools. Yeah. Many islands, small island, remote island, they have no school. The kids they don't go schools. Yeah, they don't go schools.
I see.
People who live far in the interior, there's no school for them either. Like further up in the mountain area, they got no schools. Yeah.
So I guess another question about improving Sabah's economy is to improve the accessibility towards basic needs, and that would include healthcare, education, and even accessibility towards jobs and and basic transportation as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So the Gini coefficient that I said just now actually is much more related to that basic infrastructure. Yeah.
So I guess when it comes to accessibility, Sabah is lagging way behind compared to the rest of the Peninsular Malaysia, I would say.
That's true. Yes. And another thing, when people live on the islands, they have no proper sanitation system, for example. So of course, all the household waste will go to the sea, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I give you this. This one maybe is not so good example. I don't mean to exaggerate. Okay, have you heard of Sipadan, right?
Yeah, of course. Is a very prominent beach area.
Yeah, it's on diving island. Okay, it's located in Sampurna. Yeah. But there is no resort on the island. So what happened is there's islands near it. People build resort. Yeah, vast world-class resort. Yeah. For example, islands like Kapala and Mabur, side by side of this fantastic resort, like Club Med, Club Med standard. Side by side to them is poor people who live in the stilt house. I mean, they're still submerged underwater, high tide. Yeah. So these people, of course, like I said, they have no proper sanitation system. So you imagine, you are vacationing, you sit very nice hotel there, enjoying your holiday, and you swim, and then what you see floating, right? So you imagine, I don't want to be very graphic about it, but
so
you imagine.
So side by side, there are people who throw human waste and other waste.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. But then the question is, I mean, we can blame individuals in terms of how they take care of their own sanitation, but what overallly, what has the Sabahan government or even like local NGO do in terms of trying to train, educate, and also provide facilities to this hardcore poor society?
That's true. So I mean, that's again back to that basic infrastructure, We pay tax because we expect the government will use the tax to improve public goods like sanitation things, So, but it's not there. It's not there. And I think it's not fair to blame those people who live in the still house for using the entire ocean as their toilet because they don't got no choice. Like you said, if there is NGO that can introduce them a better, cheaper technology so that they will not throw their waste to the sea directly, that will be good. But so far, there's none. That doesn't exist. I don't know why. Yeah.
Oh, so in terms of the welfare of the people in Sabah, especially the hardcore poor, they don't really get access to that many civil societies. Is that the case?
Yeah. We have some NGO, local NGO, but they have different focus. They're on wildlife, they're some on environment stuff, but nothing much on livelihood people, on the livelihood beyond. Try to increase their income, beyond that.
So I guess in terms of Sabah's economy is much more than just talking about trade and investment. It's also the whole socio-economic structure that it needs to it needs to move beyond than the current status quo right now. But let's move to trade and investment, like in terms of foreign direct investment. How much of Sabah's investment is coming from overseas?
If you look at FDI, facts and figures, very minimum. Among the lowest among the 13 states, among the lowest. Slightly more than Kedah, entering Kelantan, but nothing to be proud of. So. It's not that there is no investment opportunity for them because, like you said, we have a very rich natural resource. We are endowed with natural resource. You name it, we have it. Unfortunately, that investment shy away. That's a big question. It's not that we don't have people who have skills to work for them. We have plenty. Like I said already, almost 100,000 people are looking for a job that suit their qualification but cannot find.
Why is that so? Investors are shying away from Sabah. Is there any clear reasons to it?
Okay. So if you want to invest whatever sector, you produce something, right? What do you want? You as a worker, let's say you don't own the company, but you as a worker, you go to a foreign land. What do you need? Good school for your kids, right? And safe and convenient things that you like. For example, expats, what people from outside Malaysia make them comfortable. So those may be missing, or maybe. We have blackouts, electricity supply is not reliable. That's another thing. That's institutional failure, not so much of we don't have oil, because we produce oil, yet we have a blackout. I mean, who wants to invest when suddenly you black out? What happened to your factory, your expensive machine? Well, you lose millions within a day.
Does it happen oftenly in terms of
yeah.
blackouts in Sabah?
Sure. If you go to a major city, first thing you rent a car, right? Because you want to go see around, right? You make sure you put your full tank.
Really?
Never said, okay, many gas station around. You said, very convenient, just stop and fill up the gas later. No, because if the blackout happen, there's no way for you to get the fuel. So who wants to invest? You imagine, I spoke to people that part of this investment community, French, We have a quite number of French people in Sabah now.
I see.
You guess why?
Oh, what is it? I can't guess.
Because our submarine, the only submarine Malaysia has is here in Sabah. That submarine, we bought it from France, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And together, the package of that purchase was also bringing some French scientists, military people to train Malaysians to handle that submarine technology. So I spoke to them. I said, how is your life here? They said, the rest is good. Everything French like to see. animals, mountains, greens is everywhere here. So
In
what
fact,
is missing?
yeah, what is missing, right?
Good international school is not here because they bring the kids, right? Of
In
course,
fact,
like I
good
said,
school is not here, not just international, even the public school, isn't it? And the
yeah,
and
that's
some more
another issue.
and coupled with the lack of accessibility.
Yes. So I mean, like these French people, they're expats, they have certain lifestyle. They want to put their yachts, so they can't find yachts, good place to park their fancy yachts. Or if the yacht is broken, there's no one going to fix them here. So what's to do? I mean, those yacht things provide jobs,
So I like that you mentioned the word institutional failure. And in this case, it's beyond just, I guess it's beyond just Sabah administration. Is the whole institution that is functioning in Sabah is not really tackling the economic problems in Sabah.
That's right. I mean, meaning to say it in the simple terms, some state and federal agencies fail to perform. Why they fail to perform? Very simple, because the public here are allowing them to do it. They don't protest. They don't say things. If they do, most likely they go jail, as you know.
So the empowerment or awareness among the Sabahan is still not up to the standard of KL or Selangor, I think, or even Penang.
Rising expectation. More and more people are getting educated, so of course they have higher expectation, but they still keep quiet because they're comfortable with what they have.
So I guess the next step would probably be empowering Sabahan society, to really stand up for their own rights, and
that's right. Yes.
especially on their economic rights.
Yeah, that's a good thing that we can learn from Selangor and Kuala Lumpur citizens. That they are very vocal, they dare, and they don't mind paying the price. If you go jail, you go jail. Yeah, if it means that people means if the ruling party dislike you, so be it.
To wrap things up, what is the ideal economic blueprint for Sabah? If you can, if there is one that you can, show to us.
First, definitely we need a U-turn from relying on primary commodity, which is actually destroying the environment very fast. Nothing we're proud of. You can get wealth because you destroy the environment. That is not good. So we need to move towards that things to do that does not destroy the environment. Less pollution, keeping the green, looking after the animals. That's the way forward. Yeah. That actually is consistent with the Vision 2020.
So that's all for our session today with Dr. James Alin. And we see you again tomorrow with ABC, which is the ASEAN Breakfast Call. Thank you.